So, our trip to the Garden of Death, in conclusion, went pretty well. Really? I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it went great. We definitely got the sword, and it's not going to be used to break the barrier that protects this part of the world from Malpersio. Also, the art in this area is fucking incredible.
Yeah, right? That was something. That was some good old JRPG art. That's the kind of thing you don't get anymore.
So, you know what's even better than incredible JRPG art?
Incredible JRPG bullshit dungeons? With block puzzles?
How do you feel about block pushing puzzles?
I mean, there is a universe in which they are done well. I think that definitely exists somewhere. Like, I feel it's not, like, literally impossible to have a good block puzzle in a JRPG dungeon.
Okay, no, you misunderstand me. What if the entire dungeon was block pushing puzzles?
Well, that sounds ominous. I mean, so does this, but the other thing also sounds pretty ominous. I'm experiencing a certain amount of trepidation right now, if I'm honest.
So yeah, once these chucklefucks get out of the way, we'll get a brief tutorial on how the Tower of Zosma works.
I mean, is it something that requires much explanation? I feel like there's an essence to it that is apparent.
See, there is a couple small wrinkles. The first and most notable one is that you are going to want to make some space.
Aha.
In each floor, before you can do anything, you have to light the lamp. And lighting the lamp requires fire.
Aha.
Now, there are no less than 4 floors that we have to climb on our first trip to the Tower of Zosma. And let me tell you, you do not want to get to floor number 5 and find out that you don't have a flame.
I mean, you can't just go down or up, whatever the hell it is.
No, friend. All of these stairs and elevators are only connected to where they go up.
I see.
If you need to come down and get another flame, you are coming down the entire tower.
I see. Hang on just a goddamn minute. Did you say first earlier?
I did! You're so astute, Fadul.
I see.
Yeah, everything that you are about to see in this dungeon is the warm-up. This is the easy part.
Okay, well, we are 4 minutes into this video, and I'm already fucking sick of this.
So yes, the way this tower works is pretty straightforward. Red blocks can be pushed around, blue blocks get pushed into the wall. And you can climb on basically anything. Which is nice, I guess?
I mean, there's something to be said for, like, some kind of consistency, I guess, but, like, I don't know. What would have happened if that red block was not in that corner? Like, that thing would have come up and we'd have had to go down and reset it and then go and push the block over there and...
Yes, that is exactly what would have happened. You would have realized that you were fucked, and then you would have had to go and unlight the torch and start the entire room over again.
Oh, you can't, like, pull the blue block out of the wall to do the thing, you just have to reset the entire goddamn floor?
No.
I see.
Anyway, here's a piece of equipment for Savina. It sets her on fire.
Aha. I mean, I can relate.
Just put a pin in that one. We're gonna come back to that later.
Right. I mean, just for starters, I feel like the accessory for Savina that sets her on fire would be would have a particular use here that might, you know, might be applicable to this. Like, maybe?
Remember the clams and how they were your favorite enemy because they just take like 50% damage from every single element because fuck you, that's why?
Look, we are here to absorb your time. Like, there is definitely a theme in this dungeon, and it is, like, it is a flagrant disregard for your time, so we can't say that they're really off-brand here. Like, I don't know, compared with a lot of the other things that I've learned in the last 3 minutes, these aren't really registering anymore. Like, what is a tanky enemy next to this barrage of needless spite?
I guess that's fair. I mean, the frogs will put you to sleep, that's something.
Yeah. I mean, this is just some common or garden tedium, really. It's like... I feel like I've been angry about this attack name before. If I haven't, I definitely should have been. Clearly not been paying attention.
You know, I don't blame you if you're not paying attention to enemy names at this point.
I kind of just let it wash over me. There's just... Look, this is a lot, okay? So, like, earlier you were saying that you fuck certain things up and you go back down to the lamp and you just restart the whole deal again. So, does this mean that if you fuck something up and you don't have enough flames, that you're fucked and you just don't know it yet?
The one mercy that you have is that as long as you have enough flames to climb the tower, you were okay, because you can just get your flame back.
It gives you it back. Okay. Okay. That's like a major fear assuaged. Also, that block flew. Is it like ice cube puzzles in 3 dimensions? Is that what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. That's nice and normal. That's not hateful at all. I mean, I guess these could be worse, and given that we're on floor number 2 of visit number 1, I can definitely see how it literally could be worse, and we will probably see how it could be worse. There's a certain inevitability to that particular awfulness, I feel. I don't know, you take a concept like this and you decide, right, we're gonna put some effort into it, and they put the effort into just being gigantic shits. I don't understand it. Like, like with like 5 other dungeons in this game, somebody had to come up with this. Somebody had to brainstorm this, and they said, what if we made a block pushing puzzle that hated you and hated everyone, and what if we just made you sit through it? And everyone was like, yep, this is fine. This is a good thing to put in our video game. This is a good thing to do to the people who gave us 60 United States dollars, or whatever else it cost at the time. Probably more if you imported it literally anywhere else. This is what we're gonna make you do. This is what all the fuss is about.
Are you suggesting that were you in charge of the game design, that this dungeon would not have been included?
I mean, I would certainly like to think so. On the other hand, at the time this game was in development, I would have been considerably younger and considerably stupider, so, like, who knows? But then, like, I would have been like a teenager. What's their excuse? I would have, like, actually done it out of spite, just because that's what people were like. These were, like, grown adults with, like, jobs and stuff doing this. Also, that was incredible, and I'm actually, despite everything that I've just said about needless spite, I'm actually kind of disappointed that you didn't just fall off of that.
Oh, no. See, you misunderstand. If you just fell off of it by doing that, you would have gotten to the ground floor. Whereas, consider that with it the way it is right now, it makes you climb back up and wait to time it.
Like I said, in its way, it's impressive. There is an impressiveness to this. Like, it's always good to just sit back and watch an incredibly complicated system tick along and just accomplish its single purpose. This lovely clockwork-like harmony that it has going on, even when that purpose is incredible spite. It's just like, you can just watch it and it's just nice. I mean, I say this from my incredibly privileged position of somebody who does not have to actually sit through this, so, you know, make of that what you will. But I'm just saying, thus removed, one can sit back and appreciate the craftsmanship, so to speak, on display here.
My personal favorite thing about this dungeon is that none of the elevators are A, are synced, or B, stop.
Huh.
So when you are in the process of, say, pushing that block, the elevator will continue to go without you. And while you are opening that chest, the elevator will go up without you. And you will stand there, and you will wait for it to come back down like the obedient little bitch that you are.
I know video games that don't use global timers, and they're all cowards. Talk about a game design lesson we've all learned recently. I guess they're, like... Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to that.
I did not edit out a single second of this video. Not one. You are going to watch every goddamn second that I had to wait for these elevators to sync up.
Well, you know what they say, shared joy is multiplied, shared pain lessened. Welcome to therapy, folks.
Anyway, this one is our first actual puzzle.
Oh man. You thought these were bullshit before. Imagine having to do this while actually using your brain, because JRPGs in this era just could not ever chill, ever. I kinda love it. Actually, you know what that timing bullshit reminds me of? Like, this seems like a weird thing for it to remind me of, but I swear to God, this is literally what came into my head when we were doing that syncing bullshit with the other blocks. It reminds me of that one time when Fire Emblem decided that it was going to be a stealth game. And they had that one mission in Fire Emblem 9 that I let's played. That you go and you sneak around the place and you have to not end any turn inside the enemy radius, and the enemies are all moving in what looks like a very simple patrol pattern. Except 2 of the enemies are on like 6-stop patrols and 1 is on a 4-stop patrol, so what looks like a very simple like 6-turn cycle is actually like this I think it's like an 18-turn nightmare. And it's designed to look like you have an opening at like the first available, like what seems like the first opening in the first patrol, but actually that one's a trap and you have to wait like 12 fucking turns and then go, and if you fuck it up, you gotta wait 18 more turns. And that, like this, is something that, like, there's an extent to which you really just gotta hand it to them. You just gotta sit back and admire the craftsmanship of this perfectly tailored spike machine. Of all these little elements going, not just perfectly going in and out of sync, but perfectly going in and out of sync that's designed in a way to just perfectly get you really fucking angry. Just issuing a brief correction to my previous comment, you do not, under any circumstances, gotta hand it to him. Anyway, save point?
Yes. Because as it turns out, this tower is so generous and so wonderful. It has not one, but 2 bosses.
That's a great time. That's just like a really great time. This whole thing is just a happy occasion.
Well, that's not even counting the basement, actually. There's a boss in the basement, too.
Oh, okay, good. Good times. Everything is great. This is a happy occasion. This is, like, peak video games.
So yeah, I sure as fuck hope you didn't get all the way up here and didn't have a flame with you, or else your dumbass is walking all the way back down the tower.
It's a very good time. Like, what do you even say to that? I thought this was literally just going to be a fight room, but I guess we've got some stuff to do first.
We're gonna take a second and do a few deck upgrades, and crucially, we are going to remember that we need to set Savina on fire.
Right, yes, you did mention.
That is a key part of our upcoming strategy.
I mean, I still feel like you should have been able to set Savina on fire in order to light the torches. I feel like that should have been a thing. I mean, it's not just me, right? That absolutely should have been a thing. So we should have had the option to, like, rather than just, like, capture the fundamental essence of, like, a fire, we should have just been able to just take out a Magnus and just set it on fire. I feel like that would have been more appropriate. Anyway, big fan of this whole, like, what even is the point of this?
Well, we're letting the boss out.
It's just a huge stack of blue boxes.
So we can fight them, obviously.
But, like, once again, I must make the observation that somebody thought of this and they were like, yes, let's do this rather than just have you walk into the room and fight the boss. This will be preferable, somehow. We are definitely very good at our jobs and should get a raise. As opposed to being permanently exiled from the entire business of video games. Well, I don't know what I expected, but...
So you get one guess as to what the gimmick of this fight is.
Right, you hit the one guy with the one thing, and you hit the other guy with the other thing. And make very sure not to hit the wrong guy with the wrong thing. I've done this JRPG before.
Yep. So, the only real thing of note is that in addition to the obvious, the red one has a special finisher that will set you on fire. The blue one has a special finisher that will freeze you. And they also have one buff. The fire one does an attack buff, and the water one does a defense buff. You do not want the fire one to be using its buff.
I mean, that is a theme that I've noticed in both boss and regular enemies in this game, that the buffs are real bad news. I don't actually remember, did we ever get a way directly to remove buffs, or do you just have to wait them out, or what?
You pretty much just have to wait them out unless you counter them with your own cards. Like, we do have a few, I don't use them, but we have a few cards that do like minus attack or minus defense, and we have a few buffs of our own. But yeah, in general, you kind of just get told to deal with it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I wanted to say that the being set on fire or being encased in ice could be done worse, and then I remember it absolutely was. It was one of specifically Final Fantasy IX's very, very weird, spiteful innovations, where they had the heat and freeze status effects. I don't know how many of our viewers remember this in detail, but if you get hit with heat and then you take literally any action, you just immediately die. There's no question, no damage numbers, there's no mechanics to it. You just fucking die straight away whenever you do anything, even if that thing is curing yourself of heat, I think.
So yeah, now that he's used the Seal of Agios, Savina just took like 1,500 damage from a single combo.
That's a big number.
And I mean, it's not like we're really hurting. I mean, we're doing all right. We've got about 3,000 HP a pop here. And oh yeah, and there's the other one.
There go the buffs. It's a good time. So like, and I don't know, this wasn't particularly obvious to me at this point, but like, is Savina being on fire actually at any kind of a detriment?
I mean, yes. If you are on fire, you have the flames ailment by default, which means that you do take not a trivial amount of damage, but I mean certainly more than poison. But it's not a terrible amount.
I mean, as we've just seen, all damage is trivial right up until the last one. So you know. Presumably it puts fire on her stuff, and you know, I get the notion.
Specifically, what it does is that if you are on fire, you cannot be frozen.
I mean, that tracks. Is the inverse true, by the way?
If you're yes, if you're frozen and you get hit with fire, you will be melted and let out.
See, that's game design, folks. That's realism.
But yes, that is the play. By setting Savina on fire, we effectively neutralize both of their special attacks on her, because, you know, she's already on fire.
I mean, what you're gonna do? Set her more on fire?
And then it completely negates the power of the ice one. So
that's tactics.
It also gives her a sizable stat buff, since, you know, it's one of the ones that comes with an active detriment.
Yeah, I should hope so. Man, that was surprisingly interesting, mostly because you had the Galaxy Brain tactic of setting Savina on fire.
Anyway, that was all very nice and pleasant. You will notice the dungeon is not over.
I have noticed that.
So, we'll see you next time for some more exciting... Oh yeah, and this. I love that.
Good...
That encounter is specifically timed that as you get off the elevator, you will get forced into it every time.
Like, you see what I mean? How can you not respect that?